A long time ago, the lions ate a lot of us. They ate a lot of us. Now, that's an old story. In fact, that might be one of the oldest stories on Earth. It comes from a culture that has been in the same place for 100,000 years. And yeah, those people are in a good relationship with their place, and they're really at peace. And it has something to do with what I'm going to share with you today. But really, I think I want to tell you about how to be supernatural and to really activate something powerful within the human family, which is really, really needed right now. And I want to tell you that I was standing on a street corner in 1971 with a very big turtle, and it was on a string, and I needed to get it home, and I couldn't get it home, and a man drove up at that point and rescued me. And it started a journey that had started with my grandmother. So I was very blessed to have extended family, both from my Irish side and my Polish side. And they really spent a lot of time with us children, and they were from the old country, and they had this sense of understanding what mentoring was, and they were really good with us kids and got us really connected to nature as little kids. But when I was standing there at 10, I met a mentor who had just ended a long mentoring journey with an elder from a Native American lineage from the Apaches, and he had mentored me for many years after that. And one of the things that he had me do was to pluck a feather from a bird, a live bird, from when I couldn't catch it. It couldn't be, in a cage. It had to be free and wild. And if I could get that feather and give it to him, then he would give me a field guide. And it took me so long to figure out how to do that. Laying on the ground, pretending I was dead, hoping vultures would come. Seeds in my hand. He said, no seeds. That's cheating. It has to be wild and free. No bait. So I finally figured it out, and I crawled into a bush just before sunset and waited for a really long time in this really awkward position. And when the birds finally came in and landed, and I'd watched them for days to figure out when and where, I finally touched that tail feather, and I was going to pull it out, but then I felt the bird wiggle, and I felt so bad. Imagine how scared it would be. So I just let go of the feather, and then I really quietly and carefully wiggled out. And it turns out, when I went and told him the story, next morning I went under that bush and there were some old feathers laying there, and I brought him an old feather. He said, "That's an old feather." And I said, "Yeah, it is." I said, "But let me tell you the story." So I got the field guide. He was proud. He thought that was even better than actually plucking the feather. So that gives you a little idea of my upbringing as a naturalist, but also my fascination with what I'm about to share with you. So I put a lot of this in a book called Coyote's Guide to Connecting with Nature. And about 100 people worked on that book, but Evan and myself and Ellen really pulled it together. And it tells the story of how to facilitate connection. And I can't go any further without being really grateful to the elders and the ancestors of all these traditional people from around the world who have helped the work that I do advance, and all the people in the world who are actually doing this work. And one of them is a native man from Martha's Vineyard, and his name is David Vanderhoek. And he really wanted me to say that, we are in a time when colonialism has blinded us, and the Mother Earth needs us to connect with nature again, and that we need to do this now, and we need to do it together. And that's pretty much the same message I'm hearing from all my indigenous friends around the world and all the places that I go. And I want to thank them, and I want to thank the Tongva people who cared for and loved this place for a long, long time, and still are. So to our native friends and to the children that live on the earth that really want hope and really want there to be a future for them, let's go on a journey. This is the man who told the story a long time ago, the lions ate a lot of us. And the reason he told that story was because I'd asked the mothers during the day, why is it that your children are so incredibly aware of all the bird language that's going on around here? They look at every little bird alarm and they're like fast. And I can't get children to do that anywhere today, even when they say they're interested in bird language. It's like they're hyper-tuned, hyper-connected. And they said, we'll tell you tonight. And that night, this old man, Hanuma, who's now an ancestor, came out to the fire, and he told that story I opened with. A long time ago, the lions ate a lot of us, and he's telling it to the children with so much love. They ate a lot of us. The very next morning after hearing this story, there's lion tracks, just to remind you. Fresh ones, you see? Well, not only fresh lion tracks, but as we were drinking our tea, those two lions walked by and Josh snapped a picture. It's very real to live there without chain link fences, without hard-walled buildings, without cars that you can climb in, if you get scared. They're just there. They're absolutely vulnerable, yet they don't have problems with the lions. I'm fascinated by that. And they said, for us, we build threads with all the beings around us, the birds, the animals, the trees, and over time with the stars, with the moon, with each other as human beings, with our ancestors and with the unborn. And those threads grow thicker and thicker with every interaction, with every observation, with every question, with every story we tell to each other about what we've seen, what we've learned, what we've experienced. And eventually those threads go thicker and thicker until they become ropes.